So I have attempted to make this video for probably 3 days now, and it's been really hard. I am going to explain why, but I wanted to film a kind of little day in the life, soloing again. My husband has been out for the last week at a youth camp because he is a youth pastor, and so he took a bunch of middle schoolers along with a bunch of other youth leaders, and they went to a camp down in South Carolina. And so he has been there from Monday, early morning Monday, and he'll be back Friday around 4. And I've been wanting to film a day in the life soloing, but it's been really difficult because obviously I'm soloing, so there's a lot of things that just have been chaotic, and I haven't been able to pick up my phone as much as I would like to, and that is perfectly okay. But my sister just came over and helped me out so much. I was explaining to her how I'm doing. If you can hear the TV, I apologize. I was explaining to her how I was doing, how, you know, I've been alone this past week and it's been a struggle in the sense that I haven't really been able to eat or shower or really clean up the place. And she came over for an hour, made me breakfast, let me take a shower, and even took the trash out for me because I haven't even taken the trash out. And that was a huge help. She also helped him get to sleep so I could put him in a carrier and do some work around here, and also hopefully be able to just sit down and relax. So needless to say, life has been crazy this past week, and I am ready for some normalcy of having my husband home. And I even told my husband this, but I'm like, literally not having you here has made me realize and appreciate how much you do around the house. That helps me out, like, in so many different aspects, and I just love you so much more. So we're gonna attempt to get things done around the house, just clean it up a bit, and hopefully be able to sit down and do a little bit more reading. I've got bottles to do. I need to make the bed and kind of clean up the bedroom. I want to clean up his room too. Maybe I'll get to vacuum, who knows. But his next feed's at 12:30. It is currently 11, so we have an hour and a half. I'm hoping that the cleaning up will only take like 30 minutes or so, and then I'll be able to sit and do a whole bunch of reading. But like I said, we'll see. So let's do this stuff. to sit down with him strapped to me and do a little bit of reading, and I wanted to share what I'm reading. I feel like postpartum, I have just like turned into someone who reads, because I don't typically read, and when I do, it takes me a really long time to finish a book. But during his naps, when he does nap, I don't like having like Netflix on or things like that. I'll put on like ambiance music in the background and I'll sit and read, just because it's a quiet activity. I'm not bothering him when he's sleeping. So it's just something I like to do. So I recently purchased 2 books from Amazon that have been on my list for a while. The first book is this one. It is Habits of the Household. It's about practicing the story of God in everyday family rhythms. And I feel like this book is mostly tailored to parents with like toddlers and up, but I wanted to read this now so I can start thinking about and putting into practice those habits that will propel him closer to Christ and having a love for Christ. And not only that, but also to like mold and shape myself as a parent. So I've been reading this. It is by Justin Whitmell Early, something like that. So I love it so far. It's pretty good. We're talking about meal times and things that you can do during those meal times with your kids to instill the story of God. The second book I've been wanting to read for such a long time. I have watched 19 Kids and Counting since middle school, and I've always loved the show. I've always loved all the girls on the show, and I wanted to read Ginger Volo's book, Becoming Free Indeed, Disentangling Faith from Fear, and I've been loving reading this because a lot of what she kind of talks about is things that I've struggled with in my faith, or at least things that I'm realizing I struggle with in my faith, and how it's bled into my everyday life and my view of God. And I've been loving it so far. I'm on chapter 3 right now. So he is currently feeding right now. I occasionally breastfeed and occasionally give him a bottle, but sometimes after a feed I will offer a bottle, because sometimes after a feed he doesn't seem fully satisfied. So I always prepare like a small bottle and just offer it to him if he wants it. So he did really good on his nap early today, and just the piece of advice that my sister gave me was like, at this early stage that he's in, sometimes it's best to, you okay? Sometimes it's best to, instead of just like trying to put him down for a nap, to just try and wear him and do stuff around the house. Sometimes it's just best to wear him, because that's how he'll sleep the best. And I've definitely recognized that, not just because like she said that, but typically when I wear him, he sleeps a lot longer than when I like rock him for 15-20 minutes and then set him down. And so I don't know, I think I'm gonna try and wear him more, because even when I sat down he was fine and he still like slept. But I've also noticed that, so for the last week-ish or so, we've been trying to do a earlier bedtime of like 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. is when we completely undress him into his diaper, because it's the only way he'll be awake enough to finish a bottle sometimes, and we'll feed him. And then as we notice he's getting closer and closer to like being sleepy and going to bed, we'll put his onesie on and then his sleep sack and then finish the bottle and put him to bed. But I've noticed the last 3 nights that he wakes up super early, and I really don't want that. I want him to be able to sleep in till at least like 6 or 7 o'clock. But I'm thinking that because his bedtime is so early and because he gets fed so early in the night, that he wakes up earlier in the morning because he's hungry and it's been a long time. rightly so. So tonight I'm gonna try and put him to bed around 9:30. Even though I'll be so tired, I think ultimately it'll help him sleep a lot longer. I don't know if you're hearing all the little grunts over here. So I'm gonna try it out tonight and see. We had to move our times around a little bit because typically he'll go to bed at 8 o'clock. We'll wake up around like 5 in the morning. I'll feed him at 5 and then feed him every 3 hours after that point. But today we woke up at 3 and then we woke up at 6:30. So it kind of changed our routine a little bit. So, you okay, buddy? So I'm really hoping that it doesn't mess up things completely to where he's like severely tired or very cranky tonight. But we'll see. I also have a friend coming really soon. So yeah. So my friend Megan just came over. She came over for about 3 hours and we just sat and talked literally the entire time. And he did so good in his carrier. I literally carried him from, let's see, 10:30 to 12:30 and then carried him again. Sorry, he's wiggling around. Carried him again from 1:30 to about 3. And now he's feeding. It is currently 4 o'clock. His next feed is at 6:30. Which I'm hoping tonight goes well. Typically, it can get a little rough after 4 p.m. That's when naps are not typical and he's a little bit more fussy, but I'm hoping that he'll sleep and then I can put him back in the carrier and wear him more because literally I've worn him twice today and he slept so long and it was so good. So we'll see. And it would also mean that I would get to eat dinner tonight, so we'll see. Sorry, I'm filming from this angle, but it's the only angle I can film from right now. But I'm also really excited because it is 4 o'clock, which it means it's exactly a day until I get to see my husband again. I haven't seen him since Monday at like 2 in the morning. So I'm really excited. He's going to be back tomorrow by 4 p.m. It's just making me very excited for him being back and everything. Plus it just means we're getting closer and closer to not being on our own, which is so difficult and so hard. I feel like a lot of this video has just been me talking to the camera, but it's really hard to like set up a camera and a tripod and everything and like still do mom things and still do things at home. So I'm trying the best that I can, but today he's been sleeping so good. Like literally every single nap, I'll feed him, burp him, change him, all the things. He'll be up for maybe like 10-15 minutes, rock him to sleep, and then once I know he's like actually asleep, I'll set him down, strap on the carrier, and he is good to go. But my advice to the young mom, or just new mom in general, who is about to spend their first either week on their own or just few nights on their own with a newborn without their husband or without any help, is accept help when you can and have one person that you trust to come over and help you out in any way. I had my sister this morning. We were texting back and forth and I just told her, I was like, yeah, like I've been home alone all week with Gentry because my husband, Gentry, is gone and it's just been really rough. And I just kind of told her, I was like, I've hardly eaten this week and I've not really been able to really shower or pump and it's been difficult. And she was just like, girl, like, why didn't you tell me? Like, I could have helped you out this week. And I just told her that like, oh, I'll have to do this again in another like 2 or 3 weeks from now. So like, so she was like, well, next time you have to do this, like, just let me know, like I'll try and come over as much as I can and help you out. And she ended up coming over and making me breakfast, and she held and fed Gentry and put him to sleep while I went and took a shower. And so then little Gentry is currently chilling out in the living room right now. So right after I filmed that video, Gentry called me, and it just kind of sent me into a mental breakdown where I started crying, because honestly, like, this week has been the hardest and most exhausting week. Being by yourself at home with a newborn with almost no help has been insane. But he comes back tomorrow and we're looking forward to that. But Gentry, as I was crying on the phone with Gentry, he texted one of my friends to come over and help me out a little bit, because I am not good at asking for help. I need people to tell me, hey, I'm coming over and doing this to help you out, versus asking for it, which I need to get better at it. I just struggle. So it's definitely stretching me, but they came over and she made me some food, so I ate some of that while she fed him and just held him for a bit. I think they stayed for about an hour. But now we're just chilling in the living room. We have about an hour until his last feed of the night, which is at 9. He slept for maybe like 20-30 minutes, and now he's not wanting to sleep.